On August 22nd, 2025, KST, BTS RM shared yet another deeply personal letter on Weverse. And as you know, I really appreciate every time, RM writes this long message or long letter. And he wrote from LA, where the members are working on their new music, and he reflected on life after his military discharge, and also the meaning of BTS and the uncertainty of their next album. As always, whenever he writes a long message, there are a lot of good stuff to talk about. And he also spoke about time, self, and change. And also about gratitude, friendship, and his promise to Army. And then there's this question that he asked: what color are you now? So in this video, I will read his letter in Korean, and then I will do natural English translation for you guys, and then we will break down his message line by line, and we will explore his poetic tone, philosophical meanings, and what it tells us about his and BTS present and future. And as I have done in the past, I'm gonna first read his letter in Korean first, to show what it kind of sounds like if you were to read it in Korean. Of course, if you're not interested in that and rather want to figure out the meaning of it in English, then you feel free to skip over it. Okay? All right. Namjoon writes on August 22nd at around 4:09 p.m. KST. 안녕하십니까? 무탈하신지요? 무더운 여름입니다. 전역한 지도 벌써 2달이 조금 넘었습니다. 저는 머나먼 로스앤젤레스에서 멤버들과 함께 살며 일하고 놀고 있어요. 참으로 이상한 경험입니다. 본보야지 평창쯤 되는 낯선 느낌? 벌써 이상하죠? 아무튼 어디론가 부지런히 움직이고 있다고 느껴요. 여기 와서 생각할 시간이 참 많았어요. 매일 아침 10시에 일어나 운동하고 밥 먹고 한두 시에 출근해서 8, 9시에 퇴근하면 빌린 집 테라스에 허허롭게 혼자 앉아 과거, 현재, 미래, 이 어지러운 시제들에 대해 생각해보곤 합니다. 사실 어느 것 하나 꽉 쥐지 못하고 웃는 것도 우는 것도 아니고 매일매일 그냥 달려가 보고 있어요. 자아는 사실 허상이라나요? 과학자들은 뇌의 각 부분에 전기 신호들의 합이라고, 부처님은 흐름과 인연의 결과라는군요. 아차, 저희 팀도 그런가 싶었어요. 고정된 실체가 아닌 매일 변하고 있는 그 무언가? 우리들 마음속에 방탄이란 것은 다 다른 세계의 종이겠지요. 저도 이제는 그게 뭔지, 아니 뭐였는지 솔직히 잘 모르겠어요. 다만 한 가지, 30이 다 되어서도 이 친구들과 함께 무언가를 만들어 간다는 지금 이 순간 그 자체에 헌신해 보려고, 감사해 보려고 해요. 우리의 다음 앨범이라는 것이 무엇이 돼버릴지 저조차 지금 찾아가는 중이지만 너무 오래 잊어버리고 있었던 것, 이 머나먼 곳에 함께인 순간들이 어떤 아름다움이 되기를 소원하면서 여름 테라스에 앉아 씁니다. 지금 당신의 색은 어떤가요? 보고 싶네요. 참 긴 시간이죠. 그래도 다시 만나면 아무렴 언제 그랬었나 싶을 거예요. 장담해요. 곧 날아갈게요. 그 전까지 최선을 다할게요. 사랑합니다. 남준 김. There's a reason why I wanted to read it in Korean because, as you know, RM is a great lyricist. He's a rapper, but he's also a lyricist. And when he writes these letters, I'm pretty sure he also thinks about the nuance, the rhythm, and how it would sound when it is being read aloud. And RM is well known for revising his words again and again, even after uploading on Weverse. So it was beautifully written. And now let's do a natural translation. RM said, "Hello, how have you been? The summer heat is here in full force. It's already been just over 2 months since I was discharged. I'm in faraway Los Angeles now, living with the members, working, hanging out, just spending time together. It's a truly strange experience. Feels a bit like Bon Voyage, Pyeongchang, that same kind of unfamiliar vibe. Already odd, isn't it? Anyway, I feel like I'm always on the move, headed somewhere. Since coming here, I've had so much time to think. I wake up at 10 every morning, exercise, eat, then head to work around 1 or 2, finish around 8 or 9, and afterward, I sit alone on the terrace of the house we have rented, idly reflecting on the past, the present, the future, these tangled tenses. To be honest, I can't really grasp any of them. Not quite laughing, not quite crying either, just running forward day by day. They say the self is just an illusion. Scientists describe it as a sum of electrical signals firing in the brain. The Buddha calls it the result of flow and interconnection. And I thought maybe our team is like that too. Not a fixed entity, but something shifting every day. In each of our hearts, BTS must be a different colored piece of paper. As for me, I don't really know what it is anymore, or even what it once was. But there's one thing I know. As I near 30, being able to keep creating something together, 함께, with these friends. I want to dedicate myself to that, to be thankful for this moment itself. What our next album will become, even I'm still finding out. But I hope the things we have neglected for so long, these moments of togetherness in this distant place, can turn into something beautiful. And so here I am, sitting on a summer terrace, writing this. What color are you right now? I miss you. It really has been such a long time, hasn't it? But when we meet again, it will feel as if nothing ever happened. I promise you. I will fly to you soon, or we will fly to you soon. Until then, I will do my best, or we will do my best. I love you. Namjoon Kim. Man. So, yeah, his Weverse letter. As always, it feels different from just a casual check-in. Right from the opening line. He says, 안녕하십니까, 무탈하신지요. And with that, he sets a tone that's unusually formal, almost like he's writing a traditional letter, 무탈하신지요. And it's not the playful, hey, what's up, army, or hi, army. Instead it feels respectful, almost poetic, as though he wants us to slow down and take in the weight of what he's about to say. And he grounds himself in time first by saying it's been a little over 2 months since his discharge. Then he situates himself in place, Los Angeles. Now, of course, we all know, fans, ARMY all know that BTS has been in LA together, working on their new album. But the way he describes it, in far away Los Angeles, 머나먼 로스앤젤레스에서, isn't, just a location update. He highlights the distance itself. His writing, not from Korea, but from a place in between. Like removed for him is removed from home, removed from routine, yet surrounded by his members. And it makes LA sound less like a simple work site and more like a threshold, a kind of holding ground where BTS is gathering itself again. And when he says it feels kind of strange, like Bon Voyage, Pyeongchang. And for those of you who don't know, Bon Voyage is BTS travel content, right? There have been 4 seasons. Season 1 was where they traveled to Europe, and season 2 they traveled to Malta? No, it wasn't Malta. Hold on, sorry. Bon Voyage BTS. Yep. Northern Europe for season 1. And for season 2, Hawaii. Season 3, it was Malta Island. And for season 4, it was New Zealand. But here, he said what? It kind of feels like Bon Voyage Pyeongchang edition. And it's that kind of unfamiliar vibe. And he said, already odd, isn't it? Anyway, I feel like I'm always on the move, headed somewhere. So that was quite interesting. And by the way, I know so many ARMY would miss Bon Voyage and looking forward to next season if it ever comes out. Right. Anyways, Namjoon then spends time on the details of his daily routine and daily rhythm, which the members have talked about when they turned on the Weverse live streams. But for him, for RM, he wakes up at 10, exercising, eating, heading to work, and then finishing in the evening before setting out alone on the terrace. And here I noticed that the members have their own individual routines, different from each other. For example, J-Hope, if I remember correctly, he wakes up earlier and then he finishes work earlier, like before dinner time. But here RM says that he finishes work at 8 or 9 p.m. Still working even after having dinner, it sounds like. Or maybe he has dinner late at night. But who knows? But it just tells that they have their own individualized rhythms and routines. So that's interesting. And that image of him, RM, sitting on the terrace, like quiet, solitary, reflecting on past, present, and future, the time tenses. He even calls them these tangled tenses. 이 어지러운 시제들에 대해서 생각해 보곤 합니다. I think about these tangled tenses deeply. And it's a beautiful phrase because it shows how disoriented time can feel after a major life transition. And for him, he just survived through a year and a half of military service life, and then he's in LA working hard on the next future, next album. And RM admits that he cannot really grasp any of it. Like he says, he's not laughing, not crying, just running forward each day. 웃는 것도 우는 것도 아니고 매일매일 그냥 달려가 보고 있어요. And yeah, that's honesty that most people wouldn't share so plainly, especially as world-class artists. And then RM moves into something bigger. What the self even is. 자아, self or ego. Like he references scientists who see it as electrical signals in the brain, and the Buddha, who saw it as a result of flow and connection. Then he flips it onto BTS. Maybe their team is like that too. Not a fixed entity, not something set in stone, but something shifting, alive, changing every single day. And I feel like that's a very powerful reframing, especially for those fans who sometimes worry about whether BTS is the same as they once were. But for Namjoon, that very change is what makes it real. And then he brings in a metaphor. BTS as different colored pieces of paper in each person's heart. And that reminded me of this particular photo. And for him, even he himself isn't sure anymore what BTS is. 저도 이제는 그게 뭔지 아니 뭐였는지 솔직히 잘 모르겠어요. Or what it used to be in the past, what BTS used to be in the past. And that level of vulnerability, once again, could sound unsettling, but he doesn't leave it there. Instead, RM turns toward gratitude. Nearing 30, 서른이 다 되어서도 he feels the significance of still being able to create something together with his friends. And notice how he put a single quotation mark around the word 함께, togetherness or together. And using the words friends to describe his members, refer to his members. And he says he wants to dedicate himself to that, to be thankful for it. And it's not about chasing an old definition of BTS, if you think about it. It's about honoring the fact that they are still here together, still creating side by side. And when he mentions the next album, 다음 앨범이라는 것이 무엇이 돼버릴지 저조차 지금 찾아가는 중이지만, he's being super honest again. He admits he doesn't yet know what it will become, the next album. And that's rare because usually in the industry, because usually albums are framed as if everything is already locked in, something that everybody should look forward to. But for him, the album is still a process, still a search, and yet he hopes that these moments of togetherness in LA, moments they had almost forgotten during the long break and during the military service, can turn into something beautiful. And that's where his hope lies. Not in certainty, but in the beauty that can come out of shared experience. And I was like, when I read that, I'm like, yeah, that really hits hard. And the closing shifts directly to ARMY. For BTS, it's always, it begins with ARMY and it ends with ARMY. He asks, what color are you now? 지금 당신의 색은 어떤가요? And that's a very intimate question and also poetic, echoing his earlier reflection on colors and paper. But also turned outward toward the audience, the reader, the ARMY. He admits that he misses everyone, fans, and he acknowledges the long time apart. But then he promises, when we meet again, it will feel like nothing ever happened. And that's such a comforting reassurance for fans, that the gap won't matter once reunion comes. And then this phrase, 곧 날아갈게요. I will fly to you soon. Until then, I will do my best. I love you. Or we will fly to you soon. Until then, we will do our best and we love you. And that pulls the whole letter back down to earth, so to say. After all the philosophical musings, he leaves us with something simple and raw. And what makes this letter so powerful for me is the balance it strikes. On one hand, it's deeply reflective, almost academic at times, questioning the self, time, and identity. And on the other hand, it's also deeply human, missing ARMY, cherishing his friends, and promising to do his best. And yeah, it's absolutely not the voice of someone who has all the answers. Rather, it is the voice of someone living through uncertainty, through vulnerability, but still choosing gratitude and connection, which is what BTS has been all about, and which is the one of many reasons why I personally appreciate this group. And maybe that's the real weight of Namjoon's message. He doesn't claim to know exactly what BTS is right now or what their next album will become, but he reminds us that that identity isn't fixed. It's something alive, something that shifts just like we do. And why do I have these Instagram? Because to look into these photos that these members have recently shared. These members spending time with each other, and they've been dropping these footage to let their fans have glimpses of their work process, and these some might say cryptic messages. Who dropped the banana? Maybe spoilers? This is from J-Hope's Instagram, and this is the beach where they turned on their live stream last time. And yep, Jimin working at a studio with Jungkook laughing. That was that. And then Jimin himself posted this beautiful footage of himself playing with V in the water. That was adorable. And then of course these photos. So back to here's RM. Back to RM, the beautiful letter. I will end with the questions. When Namjoon asks, "What color are you now?" how would you answer him? And has your color changed in the time that BTS has been away, or are you holding on to something constant? And let me know what you think, because yeah, I feel like when they have a comeback, as Namjoon promises, next spring, it will feel like no time has passed at all. And when you write comments to share your feelings, your thoughts, as always, let's stay positive, respectful, and classy. Thank you guys. Peace and love. Bye bye.